Hi, and welcome to the final video of your Laserfiche Cloud Training 101 with ECS Imaging, your world-class solution provider. So in the previous videos, we've been able to go over what the repository looks like, what your dashboard does, how to upload and import and create new folders. So we're going to conclude with the best part, I think, of this series, and that's how to search for documents once you have them in the system, and also what the document viewer looks like and what you're able to do with that. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this final session and begin by explaining where you can search. So just like any system, you can of course search keywords and it'll look for a document text, fields, names, and you can even customize it just slightly here. You can also reference any quick custom searches that you've put in place, but this is one way that you can search. You can also refresh some of your saved searches, which we'll go over how you can do that. And then, of course, you can go to the search filters. So if you've had a self-hosted system before, this is just for you. And this point is dedicated just to you. In the self-hosted system on the desktop client, the search filters is the same as your advanced search. So when you click on this, it directs you to this page. You'll see that the folders have disappeared basically, and now you have the ability to search the entire system. And so you can see up here that the keywords are right there. And so this is for anybody now. So we're going to jump into searching for all systems, including, of course, in the cloud, which we're in right now. And so all of the search filters that you could potentially think of are all located right here. You can even add filters by clicking the add filter. So if you wanted to search by a location, which we've talked about, a records management series, you can actually select some of that, and you can even search annotations. And I'll go over what annotations are in this demonstration, so you'll be able to see that coming. So we're going to go ahead and deselect this just so that we can kind of go through a keyword search. So for example, we're going to go ahead and put the word park in. When we search for the word park, it's going to search your entire repository for anything that may have the word park or any variation of the word park. So you'll see up here it says park woods, park cleaners. So park woods cleaners. If you select your documents, you will get what we call context hits. And so you'll see on this one that we selected, there's a couple of context hits that don't necessarily match our keyword. And so basically in the system, if you type a keyword, it'll end up doing what we call a fuzzy search. So it'll search for variations of what that word actually is. So you can fine tune it to make sure that it's searching exactly for the word you're looking for. And what you'll do is you'll go ahead and put an asterisk in front of the word. So what this does is it tells the system that you want exactly that word. So you'll see some of the information in the content has changed. So now when I select any of the documents, they're going to have a context hit down here below of the word on each page, and it'll be exactly park. So it's another good way of kind of using the system. And there are other wildcards as well. So you can put in what we call another wildcard. So say you're looking for a word that isn't spelled a certain way. Like I know we have an employee and her last name is defined. And so there's a couple of ways that you can spell that name. It could be Divyne or Divine. So what you can do is you can put a question mark saying that I know that the characters are this, but we need to kind of guess what's located there as a keyword. So once you do that, you can run the search and it'll go ahead and pull up the information right here. So you'll see the last name, and now you're able to search the system for that specific name. So those are kind of nice little wildcards to be able to go in there and find exactly what you're looking for. Now, say it's not just keywords that you're looking for, but you want to get less documents that you're viewing here. This is where now you can come down here and add filters. These filters are already in place. You can even add additional filters. So the first thing is that right now we're searching the entire repository. You can search within a current folder, or you can search within a selected folder. So if you really want to fine tune the search, you can go ahead and select one of these as well. You can even go to the date modified, the date created, created or last modified. And then of course you can select either on or before, after, between, or in the past. So that'll give you the ability to look at any recent documents, for example, that you may have added, and it'll give you that view of the documents. So just keep in mind, though, that if you do start looking into some of these additional filters or areas of searching, anything you put in those areas will stay as a part of the search that you're looking for. So for example, right now we have a keyword as divine. It'll continue searching for that. So if you do like a date modified on and before, and we put maybe today, and we search it, most likely there may not be anything that pops up just because, nothing has been modified. And plus there's nothing that's been modified today with that keyword. So you could even deselect that and then run search again. And then you'll see that there have been, in fact, some documents that have been modified today. And so those documents will pull up here. Now, say the date modified is something that you actually would like to search in the future, and you're like, this is actually a pretty good tool, and you want to save the search. This is how you can do that. So you can see there's some saved searches here. And if you come down here, down on the bottom left-hand corner, go ahead and click the Save button. And what that does is it gives you the ability to save the search that you currently have. So that's just a really great feature to be able to do, is to save those searches. So we've kind of gone through a little bit of that. So I'm going to hit the reset, and we're going to go ahead and look at a couple of other things that you can do within the search template. So I'm going to deselect the date. And like I said, you can always reset any of your search filters. So in this specific case, if you want to really fine tune your searches, so for example, if you want to search by templates, you can search by template. So we have like a city council minutes or the clerk office. So I'm going to go ahead and select the clerk office and then search by that. So once I do that, you'll see that the list is pretty long of what I'm looking for. So you can select an on or before date, a meeting type. So for example, I'm going to go ahead and select improvement authority and then run the search again. So using the template information, you'll see that that list went from a pretty long one and it shortened it to what you see on the screen right now. And again, you can see a preview of the information and the document here. So you'll see on this one that we've got some highlights and some stamps, which is what we're going to go into next. So just note that within your searching filters, there's a lot that you can do. And then another thing that you can do as well is search by text. So if you wanted to search by text, you can search as terms and or not or within, and you can type that text in here. So now I'm going to go ahead and select a document. And what I actually want to do is I'm going to reset what we've searched for so far. So I don't want to do that. I want to be able to search for the word park. And you'll see that it pulls up quite a few documents. And the reason why I want to go back to this is because you'll see that there are some context hits. So in the cloud repository, once you click on the document to view it more, it opens into what we call the document viewer. So you'll see that it looks a little bit different here. And starting on the left-hand side, you'll see that it has the thumbnails of the document. You have the OCR text right here, which you can, of course, edit if you need to or modify it. But basically what it is that this text is what makes it searchable. And then how you edit it is you can click that and then click done. But what I wanted to show you is that once you open the document, those context hits don't go away. So you can still reference that word on the pages and you can review it within the repository still. And you can also search the document. So I know on one of the previous videos, we went ahead and we searched the word beach. And so you can see here, there's some variations of it. So you can go to that page and take a look at it. And you'll see this page has actually quite a few annotations on it. So that brings me to the annotations. If you have a TIFF image that you're working with within the repository, you can do annotations and search them later. So for example, if this annotation says hello, you'll be able to search that text as an annotation and you can see that result. And I'm just going to go show that to you really quick. So as an example here, we can add the filter, add annotation, and then we can search the annotation by the word hello. And let's see what comes up. We'll take the keywords out and we'll see. Oh, there we go. There's the document we're looking at right now. There's a sticky note here that says hello on this document, and we also have a sticky note here that says hello. So it's kind of a nice way to be able to search the system. And you can see here too with the annotations, you can look for a stamp name, a sticky note, a comment, text box, a call out text, which we'll go over in here as we're working with this document. So I'm going to go to the top page here so that you can see it. And I'm going to start to explain what you see here on the screen. And so this little icon here is what we call the toggle pane. So what that does is it helps to minimize some of what you see on the screen. So that one eliminated the thumbnails. This will eliminate the OCR text, but I am going to click it one more time just because I want to keep the thumbnails here. You can also expand the thumbnails so you can view them across this way. If you click on the over arrow, it'll give you the ability to change the page. You can go down to the next row and click left and right, and it'll show you basically the pages in the center. You can also choose the page here. So if you wanted to hit 5, you could click 5. You can click the up arrows and the down arrows to select the pages that you want to go on. You have a couple of tools here also. So you have the selection tool, which is, your mouse cursor. You have the hand, so you can grab and scroll this way if you needed to move up and down with one page. You can also select text if there's text to select. You can zoom in, zoom out, you can fit to the width, you can magnify. So pretty much any way that you want to kind of set it up. We have it by one column. You can also select different columns. And so we'll keep it to one column though. And then of course there's that details pane that doesn't go away. This is always there for your reference. And it stays pretty true throughout the entire repository. So it's nice to have this view of the document, and you have some other abilities too. So you can share the document here, you can download it, you can print it, you can scan, and then you can rename or save as and do an audit report. And then you can also put it into a full screen mode, which is nice too. So now you can just dedicate to viewing the document, and then you'll see that those context hits pull up here and you can still search the document. So if you know you're going to be using it for quite some time and you want to put it in the full screen, that's kind of a nice feature to be able to do as well. And so now I'm going to come back to the center here with these tools. You have the ability to rotate, highlight, redact, do a sticky note, create a new stamp, and then additional annotations, which are text box. You can underline, strike through, create a call out. If you wanted to put some form shapes, freehand or a line, an image attachment, you can do an image attachment. and then anything else that you'd like to add to the document. Here is where you can see the annotations or not see them. So if you don't want to see the annotations that have been made, then of course you can remove them. This looks like it's already redacted, and that's why that still appears. So this document already had some redactions on it, and so that's why you're still able to see it. But of course, that's what you can kind of do. And what's nice with the annotations is that it is a layer over the original document. So if you wanted to send the document out without any annotations, you can do that. Or if you need to send one that has redactions, then it can send out as a layer over. And they won't be able to see through those redactions. They'll just see how you redacted. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of walk through what those annotations look like, starting with the highlighting. What you can do is you can click on the right-hand side and then drag over what you would like to highlight. So you'll notice that an update comes located right here. Once you make a highlight, you can do that. You can right-click on this with a pan tool. You can rotate it. You can zoom on it. And if you click on the mouse, you can go to the annotation properties. So once you have the cursor selected versus the highlight, you can right click on the properties. And this is where you can assign it even metadata, put comments in it, make it private or protected. But you can also change the appearance. So if you want to adjust the color from orange, you want to do say red or pink, I'm going to use pink because I like that color, then you can customize it and create it any way that you want to show it. Now with the redactions, you can kind of do the same thing as well. In our instance in the cloud, we do request a reason. So this may contain an address or social security number. We have to select it in this instance here. So once we create that redaction, I'm not trying to create a new one, so we'll update here. Once you update it, you'll see over here in the left-hand pane that it's added that redaction. Now, once you click on that mouse cursor again, you can select the annotation properties. And with the redactions, you have the ability to white it out or make it as dark as you want. And so when you select that and you click the update, you'll see here on the thumbnail that that redaction is now white versus a darker color. And then, of course, as you're adding annotations, we have that redaction. When we do a sticky note, this is really nice because you can put somebody's name in it. So we could put Laura, please review. Adjustments need to be made, right? Adjustments need to be made, right? So now you've put a sticky note on there. You want somebody on your team to review it. And what's nice about the sticky note too is just in its properties as well. You can change the colors, you can create the metadata, and then you can see the history. So if there's any other notes that are applied to it within that same sticky note, you can start tracking the history of that sticky note. So as revisions are made, you can see that information. So kind of a nice feature, especially if you're collaborating with a team. And you want to make sure that that information is being shared and you can track why or the reasons for them adding it. And so what's nice is that also as these annotations are being added, you can see them over here on the right-hand side. So it'll tell you all of the annotations. It'll also tell you, like in this example, who did the annotation. So down here, you can see Jay Martinez did it. And it also shows the date. So it was done in 2018, and then these are the updated annotations that I've done today. So it's kind of a nice little feature to have to be able to track that history. So we're going to go over to the next annotation, and that is in creating a stamp. So you can choose from any recent stamp, so whether it's approved, you can modify the color. What's nice about modifying the color also is it gets pretty detailed. So if you have a logo that you're working with and you want to use that color, of course, you can put that hue in here and it'll adjust the color. You can even create customize stamps. So if you do have a stamp or a custom stamp, you can actually import it or upload that custom stamp here. And then you can make it a personal or a public stamp to the document. So kind of a nice little feature to have there. The other thing that you can do when you select the new stamp, and so instead of doing the import, you want to do maybe a custom stamp. This is where you can start customizing it. So you can put the name of it, date stamped, for example, and you want to create maybe a token. So we'll put the token here and let's say approved by Laura, and then the date. So you'll see that this token is going to provide today's date. So whenever the stamp is used, it'll put the date that the stamp was used. And so you can change the font also. So if you want to make it Urbina, or let's say we want to do Times New Roman, you can do that. You can do bold, italics. So any way that you want to customize it, you can do that here. I'm going to go ahead and create this, right? And so you can see this is what the stamp looks like. I'm going to customize the color here, and I'll probably do like a purple. So purple's my favorite color. And now we're going to go ahead and apply the stamp. So you'll see that that token doesn't look like a token. It just shows that it's been approved. So kind of a nice little feature, especially if you're collaborating or you wanted to make sure that others knew that it was approved or paid for. So if you're working with invoices, that's also a really good way of using that. And then a call out box is really good for if you're reviewing a document and there's something on a page that needs to be adjusted. So say like, you know, council was misspelled, you can kind of put a call out box right here and then direct it right there and say, please edit council misspelled, right? So just another collaboration tool. You can click update. So then you can send out that call out to somebody and let them know like, hey, we need to correct this. Can you go ahead and search a call out box that I put in? And then of course you can search that call out box. So if you put this in here and then you do the date modified, say as a filter, and you put today's date, then of course you can pull up that call out box. So if you've got a boss that you're working with, and you can say date modified on, and then today, and we'll deselect all of this, and we'll do a call out text, search for it, and then of course the documents that have that call out will be listed. So kind of like a nice little feature to be able to go in there and do that. And then say you want to delete all of these annotations, you can select them and say, okay, I'm done with these. I don't need these on the document anymore. You can do that and click the delete, and then it'll delete all of those annotations. All you have to do is click that update, and then of course it'll remove all of those redactions that you just added. So I'm going to go ahead and click delete one more time. We'll update, and then of course it takes it one by one. So a pretty great feature to have, especially if you're importing with TIFF images. And the document viewer is just a really great way to kind of preview a document, work with it, search words, and really help you through using Laserfiche. So these are all really great features that you can use day to day. And so that kind of concludes this session as well. Hope you enjoyed all of the things that we talked about and you learned how to use your system. And I hope that once you get into it, you're going to have lots of fun. All right, thank you so much.